Hello everyone, and now let's have a short recap regarding our subject ED 19, or also known as Technology for Teaching and Learning in the Elementary Grades. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, and of course, part of our exam is about the VMGO. So we have a question here. Which Republic Act converts ASCAT to ADSU? Okay, answer is it is the Republic Act number 11586. So for more information regarding the basis of this RA is please refer or please search it in the official website of our institution or better in Google. Okay, so what is the difference between privacy and security? So if you're fond of watching pageants, so this question I guess was asked last Miss Universe 2019. It was asked to Miss Thailand. So what do you think the difference between the two? Okay, answer is privacy. It is the fair and authorized process and access of personal information, while security is the use of technical, administrative to ensure confidentiality and availability of data. So that is the difference between privacy and security. Next, what is the implication of ICT for the teacher's way of teaching? What do you think the implication of ICT? Answer is it serves as a guide to the teachers on what they should teach that relate to ICT. Transform teaching and learning process from being highly teacher dominated or to teacher centered is not an implication of using ICT and creating and allowing for less opportunities for learners to develop their creativity, so that is against the implication of the use of ICT from the word less or because of the word less. Okay, next. Okay. How about what is the implication of ICT for the learner's way of learning? So focus tayo sa learning. It is it increased learning gains for learners, creating and allowing for opportunities for learners to develop their creativity and problem abilities. So pasensya, medyo samok because I am here inside our office recording this review. So of course, the main focus of using ICT that is to increase the learned skills, knowledge of our dear learners. Because upon increasing their learning, we could be able or they could be able to construct out from that one. Through linking it, they could be able to become creative and they could also become a problem solvers. So what will happen if large amount of e-waste is generated by ICT? Is it letter A, B, C, or D? When we talk about e-waste, that is electronic waste, that is not waste wherein we could touch, hindi yan. That is all of the above. Why? Because when we talk about e-waste, aside from the okay, what I am trying to point out here is the difference between e-waste and the waste that we usually have in our, what do we call this one, surroundings. So e-waste, it is focused more on electronics, and aside from that one, it is focused more on waste related to the ICT, like for example the computer, like for example different gadgets that being thrown to the trash. So therefore the correct answer is all of the above. So it could cause health and environmental hazard, and also it could really produce toxics, and aside from that one, it could really pollute because it could seep the groundwater, which could really affect the flora and fauna in our community. Next, how would you differentiate synchronous and asynchronous? So it is more on online. Always remember when you talk about synchronous, you are having a real time with the use of Zoom, Google Meet, and asynchronous, the students are given flexible time to answer the what we call this one activities. So answer for this one is letter B. Synchronous run in real time, while on the other hand, asynchronous run more on a relaxed schedule with student accessing because it is more flexible. Next, arrange the following steps in creating Facebook group. So I guess you already have an activity regarding how to create or how to make your Facebook group as a what do we call this one, an online platform for learning. So the correct order for this one is letter C. Of course, you need to start by opening your Facebook application, and you are going to end to number 3, which is you will invite members and click next. Next, as a student, determine the value of e-learning platforms. So what do you think the importance of these e-learning platforms, most especially right now that we are facing this pandemic? Answer is letter D, A, and C. Because e-learning platforms eliminate distance where you can access, let me check the time. Sorry. Okay. Where you can access whenever and wherever you are. And aside from that one, it also um, what do we call this one? It also provides a repertoire of way wherein we could really make use of different methodologies, strategies, and also approaches. That is why answer is letter D. Next, how would you define technology as a tutor? So we all know that we have our own definition of what is technology. But how about in the lens of being a tutor? That is, together with the teacher, technology can support the teacher to teach another person, or technology, when programmed by the teacher, can be tutor to its own. So that is in the lens of being a tutor. Next, how would you define technology as a learning tool? So we are done with defining it in the lens of being a tutor. How about being a learning tool? That is, technology provides students with easy to access information, accelerated learning, and fun opportunities to practice what they learn. From the word itself, learning tool, or the technology serves as a medium for the students to learn easier and of course much better as they learn without technology. Next, which of the following is an example of collaborative technology tools that can help teaching and learning process? Again, we have the collaborative technology tools. Answer is, when we talk about collaborative, you could be able to work out in teams. Answer is Google Docs and Google Drive. Why? Because in Google Docs and in Google Drive, you could be able to add collaborator. Okay, later on, we will we I'll be demonstrating with you on how you are going to add collaborator if you are going to use Google Docs and Google Drive. So what is the difference between Microsoft Word and Google Docs? Google Docs, of course, it is one of the sub applications of the Google. While on the other hand, Microsoft Word is under Microsoft, and I guess it is already being serve as a default in our respective laptops. While Google Docs, you could download the application of this one, or you could just search it via Google. Next, how would you develop your creative skills using Google Docs? So of course, um, you know what? Compared to using Microsoft Word, the advantage of Google Docs is, of course, you could add, as what I said, collaborator. And aside from that one, you could also import, create, edit, and update documents and spreadsheets in various fonts and file formats, combining text with formulas, list, table, and images. So of course, with the use of Google Docs, you could be able to do these all things as compared if you are going to use Microsoft because it has a separate Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Next, arrange the following steps in creating Google Docs on how you're going to open Google Docs. Answer is first is you need to create a document, edit and format, and share and work with others by adding collaborators. And now, arrange the following steps in creating Google Classroom. So, I guess this is much easier. Why? Because the first thing that you're going to do is go to the classroom.google.com, or better search it in Google Classroom. And next thing is, of course, click on the plus button in the top right to create your first class, and so on and so forth. Next, what collaborative tools use for educational websites that takes the ideas of social network and refines them and make it appropriate for classroom? Answer is Edmodo. So Edmodo, that is one of the collaborative tools wherein there is, what do we call this one, refining of the, what do we call this one, websites wherein you could add in your class. And what would happen if collaborative tools being used in teaching and learning process? Okay, of course, all of the above. Online learning communities may focus on the following, except answer is letter D, corporation. In short, the process, technology, and personal aspect are what the things that the online learning communities wherein they could give their focus on. As a student, what can you contribute to reduce e-waste? A while ago, we discussed that e-waste are examples of this one are not just the waste coming from the online, yes, ma'am, but also the waste that are coming from electronic devices, wherein it could really harm our environment. So, as a student, what are the things that you could use? That is, of course, recycle electronics and batteries in e-waste recycling bins located around the campus. Because you know what? It is really prohibited for throwing it, what do we call this one? Outside the, what do we call this one? Throwing it in our surroundings or in any place that you want. You need to really segregate that one. Throw it in a proper disposal material wherein we could really recycle that one. And aside from that one, the following are the educational technology policies except. So which among the following here are not one of the policies? That is surveillance and data retention. In short, the ICT infrastructure, learning resources, and skills and competencies are examples of the policies. How can you describe multimedia resources? Multimedia. It is the combination of text, audio, tips and tools for creating and editing media and source of information. What would you improve in making multimedia formats? And of course, all of the above. Because multimedia doesn't only tackle with the text, the video, audio, but it talks about all. So what is a collaboration tool? It is to support a group of two or more individuals to accomplish a common goal or objective. That is the nature of collaboration tool. Next, why does technology consider as a learning tool? Okay, because it provides students with easy to access information and the like. As a future educator, how would you improve your technology skills? So, how? That is, wait. That is, utilize online tutorials and training manuals. So, it is really prohibited to ask students on how to use technology. It is not like prohibited to the point na di yun pwede. You could really ask assistance from your student. But as a teacher, you need to be what? You need to be superior, not being superior, but you need to be one step higher from your students, so you need to be more knowledgeable, of course, from them. And practice your technology skills. Okay, next. Okay, why do you think e-learning platforms is important? Okay, so it is important. Okay, all of the above, because it also make people to become effective, and aside from that one, of course, for easier or for more convenient time, and aside from that one, the inconvenient is you could also save time, money, and of course reduce transportation cost. Okay, so uh, these are the things that will really come out in our exam. So screenshot. Okay, so we are done with our some sort of recap regarding what we had discussed in Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and I guess Unit 4 of the ED 19. Okay, so if you have questions, queries, of course you may leave it or ask it or raise it in our respective group chat. So I guess that's all. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.